This video was sponsored by CuriosityStream in partnership with my streaming service Nebula. Hey, happy Friday! Turns out this year's CES was pretty crazy. We got way more big announcements than we got in the last 5 CESs combined, so I decided to turn the entire Friday checkout this week into a 2022 CES recap. If you're interested in a massive list of new products, we have over 90 announcements in the release monitor this week. It's truly a crazy week, and while you're at it, you will also find our weekly tech knowledge quiz there with 20 brand new questions. Check those out in the link in the description, and welcome to the Friday checkout. Alright, I'll start with the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE because, well, I have a review unit right here. According to Samsung, they sold 10 million units of its predecessor, the S20 FE, since it was released just over a year ago, which is probably way more than expected, so it is not a surprise that we got a follow-up. But this year we got a phone that is much more of a confusing value proposition. Once again, the FE is meant to be an almost flagship phone that cuts a few corners for a better price, but that price is less competitive this year, with many competitors like the Pixel 6 or the OnePlus 9 or even Samsung's own regular premium S21 at current prices undercutting the FE. Now there are a few pros and cons for the FE. The pre-order, at least here in Germany, includes a free pair of Galaxy Buds 2s, which maybe makes this an okay deal. From what I can tell, it also has a Snapdragon chip even in Exynos markets, which might mean slightly better performance and battery life. It comes with Android 12 out of the box, so it should get one more year of support than the regular S21, and size-wise this is right between the regular S21 and the S21 Plus. So if you want a somewhat cheaper phone that is also not too small, you might like the size. That said, you get a screen that doesn't have adaptive refresh rates, you get a camera element that is plastic instead of metal, and since this is what is resting against surfaces, I would expect it to get scratched up pretty easily without a case, and you trade the 64 megapixel zoom camera of the regular S21 for an 8 megapixel one. I expect that this phone will be on sale a lot, and if that happens, it might actually be a great purchase, but right now, as it launches, it's kind of in a weird spot, especially given that the S22 is just around the corner as well. Alright, and enough about phones. The biggest thing that happened at CES is actually all the laptop news. There were a few desktop things too, for example, a new Intel chip that can hit 5.5 GHz or a brand new flagship Nvidia 3090 Ti, but there are also so many new laptops as well as new laptop chips from all three manufacturers, so Intel, Nvidia and AMD, that this is actually the biggest leap in Windows laptops in many years. The new 12th generation Intel laptop CPUs seem amazing on paper. They brought their big little architecture to laptops, so you get high performance cores combined with efficiency cores, up to 14 cores in total in fact, as well as 20 threads. There are huge promised performance gains, up to 30 to 40%, and there is a whole new Intel series called the P series that slots right in between the H and U series that they had before. Meanwhile, AMD brought a whole new Zen 3 Plus based laptop CPU series to market that's 6 nanometers and finally comes with RDNA 2 graphics included. Apparently the integrated GPU gains are huge, up to 2 to 3 times as fast as last generation, so you'll be able to play games even on thin and light laptops. There were a whole host of other GPUs from AMD too, and Nvidia announced 2 laptop cards as well, including the 3080 Ti and the 3070 Ti. So yeah, massive improvements across the board. It is amazing what a little bit of competition can do to the market, and let's take a look at a couple of laptops that are worth highlighting. First, Dell released the XPS 13 Plus with the brand new Intel P series 28-watt processors, a touchpad that is integrated into the wrist rest, a weird capacitive touch bar that you're not supposed to call a touch bar, and very annoyingly, no headphone jack. Supposedly, that was necessary for Dell to fit in the 28-watt P series CPU over the usual 15-watt processor in this range, but the compromises are pretty significant. Then Asus put out one of the headline laptops of the week with the Zenfone 17 Fold OLED, which is a 17.3-inch foldable laptop that is nothing but an OLED screen, and it is like a bigger version of the ThinkPad X1 Fold that was released 2 years ago. Like that device, the ZenBook 17 folds in half and gives you a detachable keyboard, giving you a bunch of different form factors and ways to work. There's sadly no price on this yet, and I was actually thinking that even as somebody who really likes foldable smartphones, I don't think I'd actually want a foldable laptop just yet. How about you? Let me know down in the comments. Another weird innovation is Lenovo's ThinkBook Plus Gen 3, a 17.3-inch unit with a built-in touch-sensitive secondary 8-inch LCD screen sitting alongside the keyboard, starting at just $13.99 USD. That is surprisingly affordable, but it just somehow looks cramped. Suggested use cases, according to Lenovo, are for things like drawing or editing images or documents, as a launcher for frequently used app icons, to mirror a smartphone, and to push Spotify or Twitter or whatever down to the second screen. And finally, Samsung also showed off some new styles of foldable tech at CES for both smartphones and laptops, including the Flex S, where the 3 panels fold out into a sort of S shape, the Flex Note, which is a sleek foldable laptop, and the Flex Slidable, which we would typically call a rollable phone. Weird flex, but okay. Alright, and next up, let's talk about all of Sony's announcements at CES. They unveiled a further push into EVs with the Vision S SUV, a new concept. They announced a new mobility division called Sony Mobility, and they also said that they are actually, quote, exploring a commercial launch of Sony's EVs. That is huge. Would you buy a Sony car? Anyway, beside that, Sony also teased its next generation VR headset, the PSVR 2, which is proof that the Oculus Quest has kind of reignited the fire under a somewhat sleepy VR industry, and Counterpoint Research now interestingly expects 10x growth by 2025. Beside that, CES also had the usual next generation of TVs from all of the big manufacturers, and the 3 main new things that all of them shared were HDMI 2.1, 8K resolutions, and mini LED. The most interesting TV news, in my opinion, was the first ever QD OLED TV, which is a quantum dot OLED panel made by Samsung Display, and it is the first OLED TV panel Samsung has made in forever. And they somehow gave it away to Sony to launch with it instead of keeping it for themselves. Weird. There was also a teaser for the OnePlus 10 Pro, but I'll talk about that phone more next week because that's when it will be properly announced. And to wrap up, I had a very silly idea for a sponsored ad read, so I hope you'll enjoy. Are you one of millions suffering from YouTube? You want to watch videos, but ads everywhere. You're just browsing around innocently and wow, now you're in a rabbit hole about the Earth being flat. You want to decide who to follow, but oh no, the algorithm decides to simply not show you videos, even from channels that you're subscribed to. Well, what if I told you that there is a solution? Psst, it's called Nebula. Nebula has no ads, no nasty tracking, you decide who you want to watch, it is creator-owned so we don't have to worry about upsetting the algorithm gods, and it has a ton of exclusive content like an entire Nebula original series from me about how technology is portrayed in movies and other originals from great creators as well. Oh, and it is super affordable in a bundle with CuriosityStream at just $15 for an entire year for both services. CuriosityStream is of course the premier place on the internet for high-quality documentaries. I just finished watching this one, which was a fascinating look at how the world's first published computer program and a plan for a computer made of cogs and wheels was born in 1843 by Countess Ada Lovelace. I think my audience would enjoy watching it quite a bit, and CuriosityStream is full of other great documentaries spanning history, nature, science, and more. Get access to both services with the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.